Harwood.
Okay, Jim, thank you. Merrick, I guess when we talk to bigger players, we ask them about using their size to their advantage. The 6'3", 6'4" guys, you're at the 5'9", 5'10" range, and size works for you too.
I mean, the rule change, I think helping me a lot. And, before it was lots of hooking and holding. And right now, defenseman can hold you for a while because he's going to get 2 minutes. And power play's the biggest key in the game right now.
And we're seeing you score in traffic more often than not. You've got 30 goals. You're just behind Ovechkin. You're slightly ahead of Sidney Crosby. We don't hear your name quite as much as those two in the Calder race. Are you affected by that kind of stuff, or does being on a playoff team right now take your mind off of that?
I'm not focusing about that. I'm coming to every game. I want to help our team to win in the games. And, if I'm going to keep scoring goals and if I catch them, that's great. If not, it doesn't bother me at all.
Mark, thanks a lot. Good luck tonight.
Thank you very much.
We'll hear from the studio next. And, of course, puck drop from 1 mile up here in Denver. It's the NHL on OLN. We're back after this.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the studio. Bill Clement along with Keith Jones and Neil Smith. We've got the Minnesota Wild on the road in Colorado taking on the Avalanche, but bunches of other games in the NHL well underway, and we're going to take you through some of the high spots. Neil, lead it off.
Well, on Long Island, where the Islanders desperately need points, Alexander Ovechkin is not there with the Washington Capitals. However, Kavasha is there, and he's got 2 goals already in this game. Here's his 9th of the season. Oleg Kavasha, as we said, has 2. It's 3-3 there. Then Buffalo in Atlanta. Watch this mistake by Kovalchuk. He doesn't clear it right there, and Jason Pominville gets his 11th. It's 3-2 Buffalo.
League-leading Carolina Hurricanes in Montreal. Eric Cole already has 2 tonight. Wrap around the tap off Craig Rivet skate in behind Jose Theodore. Theodore pulled for the 3rd time in 4 games.
Toronto's in Tampa. Toronto ended an 8-game losing streak last night. Power play blast by Thomas Cavallet and deflected by Darcy Tucker. Tucker leads the Toronto Maple Leafs with 21 goals. How about the Carolina Hurricanes? They're killing Montreal without Doug Weight. He's not even in their lineup yet.
Yeah, it's amazing. Once they get him in that lineup, so much depth they're going to have at the center ice position.
I don't know what the case is. Is Rutherford that much happier? Again, he must be that much more depressed.
Well, our editing machines are rolling, and we'll have all of the highlights from around the league during our Dodge Intermission Report. But right now, we'll send you out to Denver and Jim Jackson and Brian Engblom. Gentlemen.
All right, Bill, thank you very much. As we get set for the 4th meeting of the season between the Wild and the Avalanche. They'll see a lot of each other here over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, they sure will. David Abisher is in net tonight. It's been a roller coaster season for him, but the month of January, he loves it. 8 wins. He is 8-2-1 in his last 11 games. That ties the great Patrick Waugh. He has a chance to go ahead of him for wins in January. And that was a quick look at Manny Fernandez in goal for Minnesota.
Underway as the Avalanche wearing their home dark uniforms, road whites for the Wild. Said this is the 4th meeting. The Avalanche have won 2 of the first 3. And these teams will see each other for the next 11 games for both clubs. As of course
that's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
4 times in 11 games that these 2 teams are going to play against each other. They'll be able to have an apartment in each other's cities.
Brent Burns will move the puck into the Colorado zone. Out of his net is Abisher. Finding it ahead. Alex Tanguay looking for it. Jammed away from him. And now the Avalanche look to move up. Back to get the puck is Brett McLean, one of several unheralded players who've really come up big for this Colorado team this year. Nice pass to Milan Hajduk. Hajduk with the wrist shot. Save Fernandez as he flashed the pad out. Also had the glove there. And now the counterattack. As Pascal Dupuis moves in and wrists one in, and Abisher bats away.
He didn't look too sure about that one, but David Abisher did make the save.
Nick Schultz for Minnesota with a shot deflected. Kick save by Abisher. And Brett Clark will flip it up, but not out of the zone. And Wes Walls will tuck it back deep. So the goaltender's busy early in this one.
And Abisher was razor sharp on that kick save. That second one was really tough. The first save, he just seemed to sort of fight it off and had trouble controlling it. That was an outstanding kick save to follow it up.
Marian Gaborik with the puck. His pass in the middle. Brian Ralston has it. Second try. He scores! Brian Ralston whips it past Abisher. And the quick start for the Wild as they have the 1-0 lead.
Well, David Abisher looked like he was looking around at the referees and linesmen. Did that really go in? It came in and out so quickly. I wasn't even sure if it had gone in or not. Ralston just with a tremendous release after he fanned on the first one. Perhaps he caught David Abisher not getting set for that second shot. But that was a beautiful one right up underneath the joint of the crossbar and the post. And Brian Ralston, who we talked about in our open, who has been Mr. Everything for the Wild, continues things in the early stages here, and it's 1-0 Minnesota.
I think Brian Ralston would really prefer OLN to really broadcast all the Minnesota games. He scores every time. We have the Wild, it seems, had 2 goals last week against Phoenix in an OLN game. And quickly on the board here, just a minute and 23. And they did a quick check, and indeed the puck into that. And so the Wild have the early lead. And getting a lead on the Avalanche, not very easy. They are a very good first period club. So that's good for Jacques Lemaire's club, who played last night, lost that game to Detroit 5-4.
And that was a weird game in Detroit. Minnesota was sleeping, they said, in the first period. They were down 4-0 to Detroit in the first 17 and a half minutes of the game. Narrowed the gap and still ended up losing 5-4.
Now the Wild will move the puck ahead as Kyle Wanvig looking forward in center. It's tipped away. Randy Robitaille will move it ahead. Injury problems for Minnesota from that game as Mikko Koivu is out with a foot injury. Marc Chouinard with a mild concussion, and so we're expecting to see a defenseman play some center here. Andre Zuzin. Here come the Avalanche getting the puck into the slot, but no one able to jam it home, and Minnesota will move back to the counter rush, and Curtis Foster will just bank it down the ice.
When I talked to Minnesota coach Jacques Lemaire this morning, he said he had two worries: who's going to play center for him, and the Colorado power play. Those are the two biggest things, and he was going to lay down for a little bit and figure out who was going to play center for him, because they did lose Koivu and Chouinard in the game last night. Both of them got hurt, so Andre Zuzin, a defenseman, is going to play center for them, and that fits Jacques Lemaire's style. Having a defenseman at center, he's worried about what's going to happen on that line in his own zone more than he's worried about what's going to happen in the offensive zone.
Let's check in with Bob Harwood downstairs.
Just to add some levity to the situation from Jacques Lemaire's standpoint, he looked around and the three of us guys were standing there listening to him think out loud. He knew it was slim pickings when it came to the broadcasters too. He likes Brian's two-way play from about 10 or 15 years ago, but Jackson and Harwood didn't qualify for up the middle tonight in the Wild scheme of things, but he stayed calm throughout the morning. So you know this veteran behind the bench isn't going to panic in a situation like that.
He didn't give us a look, did he?
Even though you two didn't play in the league, you were still even with me offensively.
I don't think so. You haven't seen me skate, Brian. It's a pretty ugly sight. Power play on here for Minnesota. Svatos off for tripping at 2:21, and so the Minnesota man advantage unit to add to their lead. Wind the puck deep, and it's jammed at, and that'll deflect out to center ice. Racing after it is Milan Hajduk. Getting there first was Bouchard for Minnesota, flipping it to the line. And now it's taken by Veilleux with a pass to Gabrick, trying to dance through, but Blake said no. Now Todd White. And Stefan Veilleux, back across it comes. Here's the shot. Turnquist save. Abisher. Rebound could not be gathered by either of the Wild players. And so now it's Gabrick, who could not find the puck along the boards, and it's cleared by Carlos Krastic all the way down.
Well, if Ralston is not out there on the point, which he has not been at this point, then Marian Gabrick is the straw that stirs the drink on the half wall for Minnesota.
Antti Laaksonen with the steal, but the puck taken right back by Minnesota. Wanvig ahead. Randy Robitaille will circle with it. And Robitaille waiting as Minnesota completes player changes. 30 seconds remaining on the penalty to Svatos. And here is Ralston moving in on the right wing. He'll wind and blast. Save Abisher. Quick whistle helping out Abisher there. And play stopped, but Ralston looks to be mighty dangerous early on.
Well, Brian Ralston isn't shy, and when he gets scoring chances, when any good goal scorer scores early in the game, they're just flowing now. And Ralston's going to be shooting from everywhere. That was not a goal-scoring situation. He simply wanted to get a good shot on net. He did have players going to the front, and Minnesota does like to keep it simple on their power play.
Ralston has the puck back. And he'll move it into the circle. Now Robitaille back out to Philippe Kuba at the point. Across it goes. The shot. Foster save Abisher. Curtis Foster has a very heavy shot. Has scored 9 goals this year. Jacques Lemaire, Brian, has said that he has all the tools to become a star defenseman in this league. And
he's got a huge shot. In the 03 American League All-Star game, he was clocked at 102 miles an hour. That's hauling it.
That is heavy. Dupuis shot batted away. Turnaround shot burns, and that one whips wide of the net of Abisher. The power play is over, but Minnesota continuing to put on the pressure. Dupuis one hands it behind the net to Burns, the former defenseman, now playing up front. Back to Dupuis, and he'll drop it off for West Wall, centering. It's stopped by Abisher at the side of the net. Now flip that, and Tanguay will find Svatos. Moving up 2-on-2 with Sakic. Here's Svatos waiting the shot, and it's deflected out of play.
Well, things have settled down perhaps for the Colorado Avalanche, and they're hoping that they can get back on track. It's been all Minnesota so far. 71 first period goals for the Colorado Avalanche is #1 in the NHL. LA is second with 66 and Ottawa third with 60. Joel Quenneville's guys come out and get ready to play. That is more first period goals than they had in the entire season of first periods back in the 03-04 season. It's always good to get off to a good start, especially at home.
That is quite an improvement. As the Wild to move the puck ahead. And back is Brad May in his second game, recovering from a knee injury. Cross for Brad Richardson. picked up his first NHL goal. It was a big one to tie a game against Vancouver here the other night and send it to overtime. Richardson after it. And he is checked along the boards. Gaborik hoping for that puck to pop free. It's instead Willie Mitchell who has it. And Mitchell will get to Andre Zuzin. Zuzin playing center with Gaborik and Derek Bugard on this shift. And now I think it's safe to say, Brian, we will see a multitude of combinations up front for Minnesota in this game.
That's nothing unusual for Jacques Lemaire. He changes things all the time, even when they're in the middle of win streaks. And of course, they're not in the middle of a win streak now. They've lost their last 2 games after winning 5 consecutive. And even during that 5 consecutive, you never knew it was Jacques Lemaire. I mean, he just goes by feel and by what players are doing. And it's not even if they're, on a scoring streak, because Alexander Daig is a scratch for Minnesota, and he's been scoring consistently lately.
That's
but
right.
That's Jacques Lemaire.
4-game point streak for Alexander, but he is sitting this one out. Now without a stick was a Wild player. That was Charnquist. He's going to get one over at the bench as the Wild move the puck ahead, and now Foster will just shovel one through center. As the Avalanche also in the middle of personnel changes. Shots advantage heavy for Minnesota, 7-1 here early on. Sakic in, there's that devastating wrist shot, but into the red basket of Fernandez, and he'll make the save. Sakic's Avalanche trail by 1 early on. Now back in the first round of the playoffs in 2003, Andrew Brunette was a member of the Minnesota Wild. And he's now, of course, an Avalanche performer, but as a member of the Wild, he struck against the Avs. It was Game 7, overtime. Brian, how about this for a series-clinching goal? Beat Patrick Waugh to boot, ended his career action.
That's right. That's the very last goal that was scored against Patrick Waugh, who retired after that. That was a huge upset, and because of that, there was great atmosphere between these teams every time they play.
And he has switched uniforms now as the Avalanche try to go to work and create some offensive pressure. They've had precious little early on. Puck set down the ice by Charnquist. This will be icing on Minnesota as the Avs go back for the touch-up.
Well, whenever they need offense in Colorado, the guy you can turn to is Andrew Brunette, along with Joe Sakic. Joe Sakic, though, is having trouble getting some goals. He's only scored 2 goals in his last 13 games. Both of those goals came against Calgary about a week ago. It's unusual for him, but Joe said he's getting chances. He's hit a lot of goal posts and crossbars, and in shootouts, too. Same thing with that. So he hasn't been able to gain any offensive confidence, but Joe Sakic has the track record. They've moved up the charts in all-time scoring, passing Guy Lafleur in that goal-scoring department as well, too. So Sakic, you can always count on him.
There's Wes Walls moving, and you saw that Joe is usually at his best against the Wild. 4 more goals than anybody else with 12 goals in 21 games against Minnesota. Here's Hayduk moving in. Hayduk shot in the save. Fernandez, nifty move there by Hayduk. And everyone thinking pass, and then he fired it in. Fernandez was up to it.
That's a good sign for Colorado because Milan Hayduk hasn't been scoring goals with the same rate that he normally does here for the Avalanche this season. He's come out gunning from the very first shift.
Pointless in his last 5 and only 2 goals in his last 12, Ryan, but in some of those games he's been getting a lot of chances. You get the feeling he's about ready to bust out.
Milan Hayduk has tremendous hands. He's a great shooter of the puck, and they want him shooting all the time.
Angle drive there, goes wide. The stick of Rob Blake as he joined the rush. Now Minnesota the other way, but that aerial pass ends up out of play, and we get a whistle.
Joel Quenneville talked about Milan Hayduk today, and he said that, well, we'd like to see him get a little more comfortable in the scoring area, and I thought that was interesting because I mentioned the fact that his numbers are not up to what they normally are. So for him to say we'd like to see him more comfortable in the scoring area, that kind of puts it softly like, yeah, we need more from Milan, and we want him shooting. Second look at that. That might have been a pass after all, but it went in on goal. He's a very free-flowing guy. Milan Hayduk can shoot or pass, change his mind at the last second, and when you're hot, they go in.
Pascal Dupuis rifles one off the post. You hear the ping loud and clear. It remains 1-0 as the puck is dumped into the Minnesota zone. Brett McLean after it, the former Blackhawk. We get to Ian LaPerriere now behind the net. Ange trying to step in front, back to the point. I see Vananen to LaPerriere's angle drive, blocked by White. Now he centers, it's jabbed away and moved ahead by Dupuis. Coming back from a separated shoulder, and Dupuis will shuttle the puck into the Colorado zone. Both teams making wholesale changes.
Well, that was a bit of a stunning shot by Pascal Dupuis, too. It was the penetration that he got because it jumped off the stick and he slammed it off the near side goal post. So only 1 goal in this game so far was scored by Brian Ralston, who got good penetration. And then Pascal Dupuis coming in on his last shift, and he ripped one by David Abisher as well. Dupuis is known, he's got a good shot. Everybody in the NHL has a good shot anymore. But look at this, from the top of the circle, he's able to tee it up. David Abisher goes down, waves the glove at it, and he had everything covered. Abisher doing his job to make sure nothing goes between the pipes. That one screamed off the near side post.
Now Ralston going to work for Minnesota to Nick Schultz. His shot into a crowd and came right back out. Now Wanvig at the puck to Robitaille. They cycle down low. Randy Robitaille, much traveled player, but he's played well for Minnesota. Got the puck to Wanvig, but he could not come up with it, and the Avalanche will move up. Here's Andrew Brunette. He'll flutter one deep into the Minnesota zone. Schultz after it. Svatos in on him. Svatos constantly in motion every shift. Avalanche players will tell you they just love that about him. Here's Brunette to the puck. Andrew Brunette doing his work down low where he is at his best. Set up a couple goals from right here. The other night got the puck out to Richardson for the shot. Saved by Fernandez, and the puck cleared all the way down.
Really good defensive position for Brad Richardson. Third guy high, got a good scoring chance. Didn't get all of it.
Strastic with a shot off the outside of the net. Some of the fans here in the sellout crowd at the Pepsi Center thought it was in the net, but wrong side of the twine. Strastic has it back. His pass off the stick of Dan Heinold and out of play. OLNTV.com and NHL.com are your links to everything hockey. Complete coverage to recap highlights, get the latest news, player reviews, updated articles, and our exclusive fan poll. OLNTV.com and NHL.com, your links to hockey.
Good shift there by the Avalanche. Young Brad Richardson done a real good job filling in here at center. He was in great position in the high slot, being the third guy high, being responsible. That pass from in behind the net, he got a great scoring chance. Snapped the wrist, but I think the puck rolled off the stick a little bit. He probably only got about half the shot he wanted.
Wild will twist the puck deeper into the Colorado zone. Bugard, 6'7", 258 pounds. Got it behind the net to Burns. Burns trying to work free with the puck. Good checking by the Avalanche to come away with it. However, maybe too good checking as a penalty has been spotted. We'll tell you about it when we come back. 1-0 Minnesota early on OLN.
Checking was very tight on the last shift. Right side of your screen, coming into the screen now, Ossi Vannanen, number 27 in red, gets a penalty, 2 minutes for interference. So back on the power play for Minnesota.
The second of the game. Minnesota has scored 3 times this year with a man advantage against Colorado. 3 for 16 now. Ryan Ralston manning one of the points, has the puck. Ralston serves so many roles for this club. Got the puck to Robitaille. Drops it back along for Marc Bouchard, and now back to Ralston as they settle things down. Ralston to the circle, the quick shot off the stick and then the glass. Back out it goes to Bouchard. And now Randy Robitaille. Moving to Ralston, who's working up high, now down low, circles out with it. Here's to Robitaille. Very patient approach here on the power play. Bouchard thought about a shot, then gives to Robitaille. Right back to Bouchard. And now Robitaille, the one-timer, gloved by Abisher, was going wide, but he gloved it and hung on.
Well, the most aggressive guy on this power play is definitely Brian Ralston. Every time he gets the puck, he's really willing to throw it at the net. But Minnesota is known for its patience. Hey, they follow the coach, who has an awful lot of patience and talks about positioning all the time. So nothing changes on the power play. Minnesota getting in position, looking for the shooting lanes, and shooting lanes, even on power play, are hard to come by anymore in today's NHL.
Certainly are. Here is Patrice Brisebois getting the puck ahead. He's got Hayduk one-on-one against Ralston. Makes the move, then back to the outside for the shot, and he missed the target. What a move. Only thing missing was finding the net
finish.
Right there.
That's right. He beat Ralston on the first move and on the second move, but the bottom line is it didn't go in the back of the net.
That has really been the story of Milan Hayduk's season, especially here of late. Now a turnover, the shot, Ralston deflected, high off the glass, bounces back to the back of the mesh. And now it's Brisebois, the former Canadian defenseman, clearing it all the way down.
Well, it will be extra hard for Minnesota to find shooting lanes even on their power play, because Colorado blocks more shots than any team in the National Hockey League.
Led by Carlos Strastic, who leads the entire league. Block shots, heavy hit by Rob Blake. That'll be the first of many probably in this game for Mr. Blake. That is Antti Laaksonen, a 2-on-2, but dealing back with it was Laaksonen, and then he'll just shovel one into the Minnesota zone. Final 22 seconds of the power play.
That was Daniel Sharnquist moving up on the play offensively. That may dissuade him from doing it again, because when Rob Blake whacks you in the boards, it kind of jars your vision.
Sharnquist has it again, and puck to Robitaille. One last surge here on this power play, perhaps. Gaborik back to Chartquist. The shot deflected, but it went wide. Now Kuba tried to get the puck back to the point, but Hayduk intercepts and clears, and that will do it for the power play. Colorado back to full strength.
Nice penalty kill here by the Colorado Avalanche, and Milan Hayduk getting some time on the shorthanded situation. Joe Quenneville putting him out there. He knows how to play both ends of the ice. Watch this move. Nice inside, outside again, but he missed the target. Brian Ralston is a forward, of course, and he does spend a lot of time on power plays. That just grazed the post on the far side. And Brian Ralston going, yep, he went outside, yep, he went inside, yep, I was in the middle, and yep, he missed the net. That's the good news.
And you know, a guy with Hayduk's skill, his eyes light up when he realizes he's working on a forward back there.
You bet. Always got to work him.
Five-a-side hockey once again. Jarnquist misses his target there. This would have been icing, but Brent Burns will get there first. The icing is canceled. Burns back after the puck from Minnesota, dropping it for Stefan Veilleux. Veilleux, an energy player for this Minnesota team, back to the point to Jarnquist. His shot deflected, save Abisher. Wow, how many deflections here early on by the Wild.
It's funny because Jacques Lemaire talked to me this morning about his team not being very good at deflections. He was kind of disappointed about that, and he wants to see more deflections. Well, you bring up a very good point. They deflected some nice shots already here in the first.
Just over 7 minutes remaining in this first period.
That must have been on the blackboard before the game here tonight.
Get that feeling. Maybe that's one of the things that appeared to Jacques Lemaire during his nap.
Yeah, that's right.
He told us he was going back to his hotel room to take a nap and was hoping that line combinations and things would pop into his head.
Yeah, who was going to play center for him, among other things. Yeah, I tell you, one of the things he wasn't going to write on the blackboard is don't take penalties, because every time he writes that lately, they end up taking too many penalties. They took 26 in 3 games lately.
Puck into the slot, dangerous area here. Hayduk tied up, that'll be a penalty. Kuba got his stick into the midsection of Hayduk, and so he will visit the penalty box. Coming up on the Dodge Intermission Report, Bill, Neal, and Keith will have all the latest, including analysis of this game, poll results, the greatest player all time, and scores and highlights from around the league, all coming up on the Dodge Intermission Report.
Looks like Philippe Kuba wanted to just wait a little bit and see if the referee changed his mind or check and see if he had the right number. But Kuba is definitely in the penalty box. It is a hooking call against Milan Hayduk, who has been the most noticeable player on the ice, certainly for the Avalanche. Number 17 in the box for Minnesota.
Sets the stage for what should be a great matchup. Svantos blasting one wide right off the draw. The league's 4th best power play against the league's top-rated penalty killing. This power play for Colorado is all about movement. You have to keep your eye on Rob Blake because he'll move in from that point and camp out in the slot. And they go to work right away as Tanguay will get the puck back. Jean-Michel Liles, his pass for Blake tipped away. What a stick of Dupuis.
What a read by Dupuis there, and that's the kind of stuff that has Minnesota at the #1 spot in penalty killing. Pascal Dupuis with a great read. They want to take away Rob Blake's shot. If Blake can get down to the top of the circle and shoot one-timers, he can hammer it 100 miles an hour plus every time.
Liles penetrates the zone, hauled down, penalty. Now it'll be a 2-man advantage.
That was kind of one of those funny plays where Jean-Michel Liles came right up the gut, and Minnesota sort of, instead of coming together, sort of spread out. And nobody was quite sure who was going to take Jean-Michel Liles. Well, Brian Ralston was the back-checking forward on the play.
Hold on. Liles is also going to the box.
A dive? Is he going to get called for dive? Well, let's see. Here's Liles coming down. He does get tweaked a little bit there. I'm not sure what he got called for, to be honest with you. Liles shoveled the puck at the net. We know that Ralston is in there for sticking his stick in there and watching Liles go down. I don't know. I didn't see the call on Jean-Michel Liles, though.
Yeah. I believe it wasn't unsportsmanlike conduct, so it remains a 5-on-4. My apologies, no 2-man advantage because they call the dive on Liles. And you hear the reaction from the fans here at the Pepsi Center. Still a 5-on-4 though for a minute. The Avalanche, Sakic, wrist shot, save, Fernandez, rebound, and Fernandez got a piece of that. Sakic spinning it back to Breezeball, hustles over to keep the puck in. And now it's wound deep by Brett Clark. Now in front, Hayduk shot, and the save by Fernandez. Hayduk continues to be snake bitten.
He must have 5 shots in the direction of the net, and I know 3 have hit the net. Milan Hayduk is everywhere. Joe Sakic, what a pass. Quickly from the corner right to the tape of 23, and Manny Fernandez outstanding there.
You've got to think they'll start going in for Milan Hayduk eventually.
when a guy of that caliber gets that many quality shots, yeah, it's going to go in sooner than later.
17 seconds remaining in the power play as Rob Blake maneuvers to the red line and hammers it in. Alex Tanguay, the leading point getter for the Avalanche, got the puck back towards Krasnich, but he was quickly checked, and Dupuis will send the puck to center. West Walls furthers it into the Colorado zone, and that does it for the Colorado power play. So the Avalanche now 1 for 18 against Minnesota, the man advantage this year. So in that great matchup we talked about so far, the edge this year in the season series has been heavily in favor of the top-rated penalty killing unit in the league out of the Wild. And here's Colorado now looking again. Here's the shot. Clark save. Fernandez rebound. He stopped LaPerriere. And a whistle stops play. So far in Colorado, 1-0 Minnesota lead, and some great goaltending, like right there from Manny Fernandez.
Oh, Manny Fernandez has been outstanding. He's been perfect, in fact, in this first period. Milan Hajduk has had some great scoring chances. Brunette behind the net attracts both Minnesota defensemen. Joe Sakic from the corner, right on the tape to Milan Hajduk. Milan Hajduk gets it away instantaneously, but Manny Fernandez was better.
Manny Fernandez pulled last night for the first time since January of 04, 2 calendar years ago, full season ago, and he's responding like a true champion as 46 games played for him in that stretch not being pulled, and he has been very sharp early.
That is pretty amazing. I saw that too. Since January of 04, not be pulled. Manny Fernandez had that streak broken last night. That is quite a strength.
And really, you look for how a goaltender responds to that kind of thing, and he has responded very well here early on as he has stopped 10 Avalanche shots. Like the Avalanche have taken 9 of the last 11 shots on goal in this game, but here's Dupuis with a shot off the post. Dupuis ringing one off the post for the second time. Point shot whacked out in front by Vanity. And now Brisebois has the puck. A lot of pinging going on down there.
Yeah, no kidding. They're playing it too, and it's Pascal Dupuis using both goal posts. He just got to change the sights a couple of millimeters left or right here because he's not getting in between the 4x6.
There's Andrew Brunette. Sutter steps, tries to make a move, but he's wedged off by Kuba. Now they scrum for the puck in the corner. Just over 3 minutes remaining in this first period. Wild, by virtue of Brian Ralston's goal, have the lead. Ralston extending his point streak to 8 games. Alex Henry will move the puck ahead, and now Wes Walls, left wing feed, looking for Gabrick. Gabrick always looking to break into the zone. Likes to hang out sometimes in neutral ice, looking for that long outlet pass. Right here, a good feed, but the shot by Schultz is blocked. Kept in the zone, bouncing around off of equipment, and now Red Clark has it, and he'll turn back. And Red Clark's a guy, Brian, that Joel Quenneville just can't say enough good things about.
Clark has done an outstanding job. It's probably been the most dependable, steady defenseman on defense for Colorado this year.
Here's Dupuis, another try this time. He fires it high and into the safety netting. It was deflected on its way out of play. Dupuis getting a lot of chances here.
Yeah, it's like a stream of consciousness for Pascal Dupuis. He's getting penetration, and the puck is just jumping off the stick. Coming out of the corner, great screen shot. That was high on the goal post, just underneath the crossbar. Earlier in the period, he hit the same place, only on the other side of the net. So you have to give David Abisher credit too. He's standing in the middle, making him go wide.
Abisher gloves that offering from Ralston and hangs on.
It's been a funny season for David Abisher. He went through stretches in December where he wasn't playing very well at all. He had 4 losses, wasn't playing a lot, didn't dress 4 times throughout the middle of December, and in January it's been absolutely golden for him.
Funny how that works. The streaks, Ralston got that puck behind that. They try to jam it in front. Kyle Wanvig trying to step out in front, but he was denied. And now back come the Avalanche. Locks it in to Lyles, dropping it for Sakic. Sakic, the wrist shot, save Fernandez. If you're Joe Sakic and you try the wrist shot, it's never a bad play. He has such a great wrist.
He's got one of the all-time great wrist shots. He always talks about, I think he's got the best one on the fly. And he's always said that he shoots with his legs. He jumps into the shot whenever he gets a chance. And a lot of times that one was a little bit different style. He was off of both feet on that one, but I think it was because it was more situational than anything. When Joe is in full flight, he will almost hop from one foot into the other into the shot, transfers all that body weight and momentum into the shot, and well, he can rip it.
Vannanen throwing the puck out to center. Brett McLean will dump deep into the Minnesota zone. Billy Mitchell, who's the captain, at least for one more day for this Minnesota team, couldn't come away cleanly with that puck, and it was centered out in front. Got back by LaPerriere. They're having an outstanding season for the Avalanche. Got the puck to Tanguay. His centering pass, though, is disrupted. And play is called. I believe the puck hit with a high stick. No penalty here, just a face-off upcoming to the left of Fernandez.
You were talking about Ian LaPerriere. He has had a brilliant season for Colorado. So many bonus points from Ian LaPerriere. He's got 15 goals. He's 4th on the team in goal scoring. They never expected that to happen. But this guy has got character. He's got grit. And you know what? He's got a sense of humor, too. He keeps the guys loose. He was hilarious in the locker room coming up. Ian LaPerriere is the kind of guy that just never seems to have a bad day in his life.
And he said that.
He's great to have around.
Yeah, I never have a bad day. Career high for goals, and still plenty of season left to add to it.
Yep. He's a gritty guy. You can play him. He's a great playoff guy. After 9 years in Los Angeles, Ian LaPerriere said, well, it was time for a change, and he chose to come here as a free agent, Colorado.
2 fights in the game against Vancouver. So you can score goals and also drop the gloves for you. That's versatility. There, Mark Bouchard for Minnesota. They drop it back. Minute 15 remaining here in the period. Stay tuned for the Dodge Intermission Report, as O'Keefe and Neal will get you up to date on everything happening around the NHL. Penalty here. Down in a heap goes Brett Clark. Delayed call against Minnesota. Abisher heads to the bench as the Avalanche move ahead, but then the pass off the mark. So there's the whistle. And the Avalanche will get a power play as Clark made his way back to the bench.
Yeah, I think it's Marian Gaborik. Yeah, Gaborik's gone to the bench. An Aaron's high stick, I believe. There's Gaborik, 10 on the forecheck. Gets the stick up, and he's actually on the way down is Marian Gaborik. Watch as he gets spun around, number 10 in white. His stick is a little out of control, and he clips Brett Clark, who's coming in to help. Number 5 in red, Clark, he gets it right in the side of the mouth. Now, Gaborik didn't do it on purpose, but it doesn't matter. You are responsible for the actions of your stick.
No cut, so it's simply a 2-minute penalty. Let's see if the Avalanche can get this game tied up here in the final 50 seconds on the power play.
Well, they came in with 7 straight games with power play goals, and they've had power play goals in 15 of their last 16 games. That's a great stretch on the power play for any team.
Jarnquist from Minnesota will clear it all the way down. But it's that Minnesota penalty kill that will try to put an end to that streak. They are impressive with the way they get in the passing lanes. Lyles still handling in, but lost the puck. Sakic nearly got it back, but instead the arm is up from referee Craig Spada. And Sakic, I believe, is going to get a hooking minor. And again, the capacity crowd here at the Pepsi Center not in agreement with the guys in striped shirts. I'm not sure Joel Quenneville is either.
No, that's for sure. Joe Sakic reaching out and touching someone. He's going to get a short distance penalty here, though. Looks like a hooking call. The referee making a motion to Joe, showing, I saw that. It kind of got caught up under the jersey. Doesn't matter. It's going to be a hooking call against number 19. The hooking call. So it will be a 4-on-4 action. And you would think 4-on-4 still with Colorado, especially here at home. There's the lever. Maybe that's a good way to call it. That's what Joe got called on a 2-minute hooking call for. But you would think with the lineups the way they are and the way Minnesota plays, I would still think that Colorado would prefer to be on 4-on-4 more than Minnesota.
And they go to work here in the final seconds of the first period. LaPerriere throwing his weight around, but time runs out on this first period. And it ends with Minnesota on top. 1-0 courtesy of that guy. Brian Ralston is 23rd of the year as he beat David Abisher. Manny Fernandez was outstanding between the pipes for the Wild. 1-0 Minnesota after 1 here. Bill and the guys in the studio take care of the intermission report. Dodge intermission report coming up after this. And welcome back. I'll tell you what, Brian, that was sort of the blueprint of the Wild. You get a little offense early from Brian Ralston, then a lot of checking and Manny Fernandez.
Well, a bit of a seesaw battle. It was all Minnesota early, and then Colorado came back and got some offensive chances themselves. Brian Ralston with the only goal. He fanned on the first attempt, and I think that threw David Abisher. He said that to our Bob Harwood during the interview. And I think it fooled Abisher. Manny Fernandez came through big, especially this one, and Milan Hajduk point blank on the power play. There were a lot of good chances and in tight stuff that Manny Fernandez frustrated Ian LaPerriere and a lot of the other Colorado Avalanche.
Time to get the thoughts of Colorado head coach Joel Quenneville. He's downstairs with Bob.
Okay, Jim. Joel, I guess Minnesota dominance in terms of chances might be a negative side of things, but you have to be happy, I suppose, with Milan Hajduk and more generation of offense at the other end.
Yeah, that the last 10 minutes we were better there. We got some power plays. The power play got us a little bit going there offensively. Milan looks like he's going tonight. Joe looks good, so hopefully we can continue on from the last 10.
And we've been talking quite a bit tonight already about Marek Svatos and the fact that he never stops trying to generate. You've given him more ice time in the last few games, consciously, or is it just circumstances have meant get out there more?
Well, he's earned it. I think his plays and his consistency, he's rewarding with more ice time. I think when he's out there, he generates a lot of scoring off the rush. He can beat guys one-on-one. He's tricky in the slot, so I think he's earned it by how he's playing.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
I bet you.
Jim?
All right, Bob. And Svatos has earned playing time indeed. He has been something.
This guy does not play around the outside. Even though he's only 5'9", 170 pounds, he is in it. He is in the middle of the game. He can drive right at players. He can beat them east. He can beat them west, north, south. Doesn't matter. He's got a terrific release.
We start the second period with some 4-on-4 hockey. Here's Rob Blake moving in, hauled down, and it won't be 4-on-4 hockey anymore. Penalty upcoming against Minnesota. That is Dupuis touches up. There's the whistle. So now some 4-on-3 power play time.
Minnesota
It's
penalty
more
number 37.
apparent than ever in the National Hockey League that when anybody goes to the net with authority, and this is what Rob Blake is trying to do here, Blake driving to the net, that somebody's got to do something about it. Wes Wall sticks the stick in there. Rob Blake has got the hands of a forward. He can shoot the puck. He can make plays. And Walls decided he better do something about it. So now a dangerous situation for Minnesota. A good one for Colorado. 4-on-3 for 43 seconds.
Jacques Lemaire going to be upset. His team spending a lot of time in the box again as they're down a man for the third time. And there's Blake getting the puck back. Jean-Michael Lyles. Now Blake, who has that cannon. And here it is. The one-timer save. Fernandez rebound. Swept out of harm's way by Willie Mitchell. And that'll bounce back to Fernandez, and he'll take care of business himself. Cleared all the way down.
Yeah, Svatos down there in front of the net. Rob Blake shooting those cannons from the point. And if you're that forward, Svatos, you're thinking, yeah, I want you to hit the net, but don't hit me, please.
Gabrick will leave the penalty box in 5 seconds as Blake has the puck. He gets it to Alex Tanguay. Tanguay back to Blake. Another one-timer that was blocked in front. Now back to 4-on-4 hockey for 32 seconds as Gabrick jumps on a loose puck and moves up. Marian Gabrick exploding into the Colorado zone, but converged upon. And Brett Clark handled that nicely. Got it ahead to Hajduk. Hajduk throwing the puck ahead, hoping to catch up to it. He does. Now Hajduk the pass. Tanguay the shot. He scores! Well, Hajduk might not be scoring him, but he sets up Tanguay beautifully, and this game is tied at 1.
And those are the hands of a surgeon. Actually, 2 pairs of hands. Milan Hajduk makes a great pass to Alex Tanguay. But Alex Tanguay didn't look like he controlled it very well, and he was out of the scoring range. He's dead center right there. But he held on for a second. Only Alex knows if he did it on purpose or not. Right there. I thought he was going to pull the trigger right away. But what he does do is he steps outside a little, gets the goaltender, Manny Fernandez, to shift over 1 stride to the right, and then clinks it in right off the far side goalpost. The key to scoring goals in today's NHL is you have to get the goaltender to move, and Tanguay did that on that goal.
23rd of the year for Tanguay. Hajduk and Clark get the assist. And Alex Tanguay having a quietly very good year for the Colorado Avalanche. 61 points.
Yeah, the #1 point producer. Tanguay is a terrific playmaker himself. That time, he was the guy in this goal-scoring range. I thought he was looking for another pass there for a second. But, boy, that was a terrific shot there. Right in on the ice, right off the far side post. Manny Fernandez just wasn't looking for that shot. When you watch Manny Fernandez's body language, he just didn't expect that shot at that speed in that direction.
18 seconds of power play time now for the Avalanche as Wall serves out his minor. 5-on-4. There's a centering pass for Hajduk. He was checked, but there's Sakic waiting the shot, and Fernandez stayed with him and denied him. Oh, Sakic with that patience, but he could not beat Fernandez, and the puck cleared all the way down, and the power play is over.
Well, Sakic is such a goal scorer, too, because he does have patience, but he's got incredible killer instinct, too. When he sees a situation where defensemen are susceptible and goalies are susceptible, nobody goes to the net with killer instinct better than Joe Sakic.
Daniel Charnquist moves the puck ahead, and Walls will backhand in. Breezeball will play there, rammed into by Stefan Veilleux. Now Svatos across. And Vannanen will just play into the Minnesota zone. So Tanguay from Hayduk and Clark at 1:24 is knotted this one at 1. Andrew Brunetta pass, looking for Brad Richardson, but that's denied. And Veilleux with a pass. Up and steamrolling into the zone is Kyle Wanvig. He ran over Vannanen. Actually, check that. Yeah, it was Wanvig. For a moment, I thought it was Wes Walz. And you say, whoa, where did that come from? But it was the bigger Wanvig.
But either way, Ossi Vannanen is a pretty big guy, too. He's about 6'4" and about 220 as well. He just wasn't expecting to get hit like that by Wanvig.
Winger back to Blake for a shot that goes wide. Out to Lyles for a blast. Glove save. Fernandez flashes some leather and hangs right on to it. All rights to this telecast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the National Hockey League is expressly prohibited.
Another big save by Manny Fernandez. John Michael Lyles on the far side boards. Colorado's really come out gunning in this second period. Certainly when you get power plays early in a period, it makes a huge difference. This guy is very talented. John Michael Lyles can make plays, step up on the play from the defense, and shoot the puck, as well as any young defenseman in the National Hockey League these days.
And he'll be headed to Torino to represent Team USA. There he is. Diminutive, but dangerous.
Well, he's got a good enough brain to play in the NHL, and that's what allowed him to play even 2 years ago, because Lyles could read plays well enough to play defensively. You don't get a chance to do anything offensively if you can't defend and you can't play in your own zone. He is
11 of them.
Yeah, one of 11, and representing 8 different countries. That's the real different thing that I noticed in the stats today. 8 different countries represented by these Colorado Avalanche in the upcoming Olympics. That's great.
Team United Nations.
Yeah, no kidding. Kazakhstan, one of their goaltenders, Kolesnik, who's not here right now, he's in the minors, going to play for Kazakhstan. That's great.
The loose puck, Dupuis looking for it. Sits in the slot. No one could find it, and finally it's Rob Blake who got it out of the zone. Boy, Dupuis has been around the action here in this game. In the first period, he had 3 shots on goal and 4 shots that missed the net, 2 of those hitting the post. So he has been, I guess, the Milan Hajduk of Minnesota.
Yeah, no kidding. Very active. 7 shots towards the goal. 2 of them were posts.
Now Lyles rushing the puck. Lyles weaving to the right wing, throwing it around behind. Here's the inlet barrier, centering for McLean. He's in his skates. Robitaille backhands, but not out of the zone. Here's the pass down low. Tanguay the shift, the pass, and it went off of Mitchell to the corner. Now another centering pass. Rastinch lays it off. Here's Tanguay going to work again to McLean for the shot. Love save Fernandez, and the pressure being applied now by Colorado.
Well, Colorado at hyper speed inside the blue line. Some really nice playmaking. John Michael Lyles was in on it, but Alex Tanguay was in the center of it, giving and receiving. There's Lyles keeping the play alive, and Alex Tanguay down low. But he was cut off by Willie Mitchell, so Tanguay realized that rather than try to stuff it at the goaltender from a bad angle, he threw it back in front of the net. But Colorado coming out here and definitely going north-south against Minnesota in the second period.
Minnesota took 7 of the first 8 shots on goal in this game. They've been outshot 15-3 since. Clark's shot is blocked. Here's Hajduk. Milan Hajduk weaving his way to the boards, then dropping it back along for Sakic. Sakic tried to make a move, but play there by Wes Walz to jab it away, and Minnesota will move ahead. Andre Zuzin is stripped, though. And here's Laaksonen trying to make a move, and coming back nicely was Zuzin. Now Laaksonen has it again. His pass, the quick shot, Sakic, and the save by Fernandez as he slid across, but right back out in front. And Bouchard will play it for Minnesota.
This is definitely not the Manny Fernandez who led in 4 goals in 17 minutes against Detroit last night.
There's Gaborik trying to dance in, but he's stopped, and Hajduk goes the other way with it. Back and forth we go. The shot from center by Laaksonen is handled by Fernandez, and he's going to hang right onto it and take the face-off.
Yeah, with Milan Hajduk and everybody on the attack, Manny Fernandez is going to take all the whistles that he can and wants to inside his own zone. They're going to have to settle things down a little bit inside their own blue line. Minnesota normally very efficient. Joe Sakic would like to have changed the direction on that shot, but when you look at the angle that the puck came to Sakic in the first place, just his ability to get it away as quickly and as hard as he did and have it hit the net at all is really saying something for Sakic.
Right, I think he went for the quickness there rather than the accuracy, and was hoping the quickness would get the puck in, but as you soften that good look there, fired it right back toward Fernandez. Now here's Veilleux with a shot, blocked in front, puck ricocheting around. If we had another hack at it, but it'll roll to the corner. Now Pascal Dupuis back to the point. Kuba's shot deflected, and it went wide. Again, the Wild, their offense in this game has been get it to the point and look for the deflections, whether they're on the power play or at even strength. Now Veilleux gains the line, his pass for Todd White. White was stationary, couldn't catch up to that. Richardson a roll around for Vaninen, and then it's chopped out of the zone by Brunette.
Well,
6 minutes into the period.
Sorry, Jimmy. Minnesota's always been really good at controlling tempo, and when they don't like the tempo that it's going at, they know how to slow things down, and I think that's what they'll be looking to do here in this 1-1 hockey game.
And a little feistiness here. These teams will see a lot of each other. Familiarity will breed contempt. Manny Fernandez has been very good in this one. Tied at 1. We'll be back.
Jeez, that's a big truck.
Yeah.
It has the world's biggest cab.
Where's the truck?
The all-new Dodge Ram Mega Cab. Yeah, it's that big. Now get $1,000 January bonus cash and grab a Dodge Ram Mega Cab for around 32 grand.
OLN Survivor Wednesdays continues deep in the Amazon jungle. And this time, it's the battle of the sexes.
They don't have the strength.
Shut up.
Ladies, what are you doing?
Survivor Wednesdays, the Amazon. Wednesdays at 7 and 10 p.m. on OLN.
Fierce rivals, bad blood. The Wings and Avalanche do get out in Denver or regional action. Saturday at 2 Eastern. The NHL is on NBC.
Well, it's been almost 4 years that the goaltenders have rotated here in Minnesota. Fernandez and Rolison, and for one of them, it's been a real good year. Manny Fernandez, he's got 20 wins. That's a career high. For Dwayne Rolison, it's been the year from you-know-what. He's got a .912 save percentage, but he's only got 5 wins on the year. His game last night in Detroit may have been the epitome. Manny Fernandez gets pulled after it's 4-0. Rolison goes in. You figure you're just going to mop up. Rolison ends up with the loss in the game. That hardly ever happens, but it did. Game before that, he plays really well against Columbus. I did that game. I watched it. He played well. The winning goal was scored by his own defenseman, who inadvertently deflected it by him. That's the kind of year that Dwayne Rolison's having.
He has had a lot of those goals. Friendly fire, yes, as they call it, going off his own teammate. It has truly been. I mean, a .912 save percentage. A lot to goalies in this league will take that.
Absolutely. Anything over 90% now for a goaltender in today's NHL is really good numbers. So 91.2% for Dwayne Rolison. That should be outstanding. He's got 5 wins. It just doesn't fit.
Late penalty coming up against Colorado here. A bouncer in on Abisher. There's the whistle stopping play and unsportsmanlike conduct. The signal.
Colorado. 2 minutes for diving.
Diving, our second diving penalty of the game.
A lot of frustration in this game. There's a lot of stuff in the air, and you have to like this because these two teams don't like each other. Bob Bugner going to the penalty box. Bob Bugner for diving?
Wow.
Now, is there something that doesn't fit? Number 6, Bob Bugner will get take a penalty here. Yeah, he did. He did. Willie Mitchell, a little bit of a pick there, no doubt. Bob Bugner went a little bit too far overboard there.
Diving the call, and
like I said, Bob Bugner and diving, those two things don't go together.
Yeah, what's wrong with this picture?
Yeah.
But you saw it. I think we were both waiting for the replay. It couldn't have happened, could it? Yeah, it did.
It did.
There's Brian Ralston. So the Wild go back to the power play here. Has to get the lead back. Set it up. Robitaille to the point. Bouchard. Right back to Robitaille. Foster rotates down low. The puck skips over Ralston's stick. Now they get the puck back to Bouchard. To Foster for the cannon blast. It hits something in front. I don't know if it got through to Abisher, but it bounces free to Loxton, who clears.
I don't think that did get through. I think it was Rob Blake who blocked it in front. Again, Colorado, the #1 team in the league in blocking shots. David Abisher gets a lot of shots blocked for him, and a lot of help, I should say. And Foster shoots the puck like Rob Blake, so maybe turnabout is fair play there. Rob Blake, if he could take him, you got to be able to stop him too.
There's Foster having some trouble at the line. It's stolen by Dan Heinold. Heinold moving the other way, looking to see if anyone's coming late. Hayduk is. The pass for him denied. And it's fluttered back out, and here's Gaborik. Look out. Gaborik, full head of steam with the shot. He didn't get the shot off as Clark poke checked him just as he was going to make the move.
Outstanding defensive play by Brett Clark. Terrific patience there.
He is impressive, Brett Clark. What a find he has been for Colorado. Out of practically nowhere. Be a steady defenseman for this club. And they move in. Gaborik, another shot. That one's blocked. Another one. And the puck cleared all the way down by Clark. 20 seconds remaining on the power play.
A little bit of frustration for Marian Gaborik, too. Marian Gaborik gets a lot of scoring chances because he has great, yes, he hangs up high offensively, but he has tremendous anticipation of when the puck will come in his direction. And he has 2 or 3 extra gears. The afterburners kick in, and he can stretch any little advantage he gets in any given situation.
All right, let's go back to Stanford in the studios. Bill has an update for us.
All right, Jimmy, the Phoenix Coyotes are home. The third game of a 10-game homestand, and they are entertaining the Vancouver Canucks tonight. Josh Green down the side. Goalies don't like being scored on when it goes in on the short side. That is Cujo in goal for Phoenix. It is now 3-1 Canucks over the Coyotes. Jimmy?
All right, Bill. Coyotes, another one of those teams in desperate need of points, as are these Wild.
Yeah, and Marian Gaborik has been a bit frustrated. He had 0 shots in the first period. He is the most dynamic player. We talked about Brian Ralston being the first most effective, no doubt about that this season for Minnesota. The most dynamic and gifted player, Marian Gaborik, absolutely.
Back to full strength hockey as Veyu will go across ice looking for Kuba. Instead finds Todd White. And White will shovel one to center, but right there is Fatos. Fatos, there's one in. That's loved by Fernandez. Awkwardly, but he makes the save.
Let's go back to Marian Gaborik for a moment. We'll show you some examples of how he can score goals. Again, his anticipation, his hockey mind, sensing when he has a chance to get open. And when he gets open, he has patience, he has world-class eye-hand skills, and it's those afterburner jets. He has a very direct skating style, very upright style, which allows him to stick handle very freely at the same time. And you're never quite sure what Gaborik is going to do, whether he's going to beat you with a move or a terrific wrist shot.
Point shot there into the breadbasket of Fernandez. Remember, when you're talking about Gaborik now, he has 18 goals, but he missed 17 games with groin and hip problems earlier in the year.
Yeah, and it made it tough for Marian, too, because of that. He missed training camp, and he missed the first 6 games, and that's always bad. You know, when you miss training camp and you don't get off to a good start, you don't get a good feel. I mean, you remember 2 seasons ago, he got off to a bad start because he had a contract dispute, and he didn't have the season 2 years ago that he did 3 years ago because of that.
Avalanche win the draw. Blake went down and into the corner. He just follows the puck in and wrestles with Todd White. And it's dug loose now by Willie Mitchell. Ahead for Veyu. Minnesota looks to move up. Veyu will just chip it in, and chasing is Brent Burns. Burns ridden off, but Veyu follows up and takes a classic hit from Rob Blake. Oh, certain players, you just know who it is just by the sound of it.
Yes, you're right. That's a Rob Blake hit.
And slowly making his way to the bench is Burns, as he was hurt. Burns actually went back, tried to make a hit, and I think got hurt as that shot from Lyles is handled by Fernandez.
Looks like he's okay there. That's Brent Burns on the bench, but Rob Blake is the number of the guy that hit him. If he's asking the trainer, it is number 4. Well, actually, it's Veyu that got hit.
Right. Burns hurts himself trying to take a run back at
afterwards,
him.
I say, yeah, but it's Veyu with his head down here, and Rob Blake sensing a chance, which he does all over the ice. Rob Blake hits with his back. He's had shoulder problems since early on in his career. So Blake has already attacked, and at the last couple of strides, turns around and attacks backwards and unloads with the complete backside of his body.
Now his idol was Larry Robinson, who ended up having the opportunity to play with in his career.
Yeah.
Larry Robinson knew how to throw his weight around with effective hits.
The interesting thing about Blake, though, when Rob Blake came here a couple of seasons ago, they told Rob, who was famous for open ice hits, the kind of hit we saw a moment ago along the boards, he would do those in open ice. I mean, he has crushed people. But they said, Rob, we don't want you to do that here. We play a more conservative game in the open ice. So even if you crush those guys, sometimes it leaves some loose change. And they've had some great defensive players play for this game. And Ray Bourque came to play here and won a Stanley Cup, and that was huge news. And he played with Rob Blake in those seasons. But Blake has had to modify his game to fit what Colorado wants to do here.
We passed the midpoint of regulation time, a 1-1 game between the Wild and the Avalanche. Joe Sakic jumping on a loose puck, weaving his way in. Now he'll turn with it. The pivot from Sakic, and then the wrister. Not a lot on that, but it seemed to give Fernandez a little trouble. This one remains tied at 1 in Denver on OLN.